Put a sweater on, it's cold out! Another day, another dollar, ho! What's up? Look at my pretty wife.
Aww.
So pretty.
so
Look
pretty.
at me, so grungy. Although this unwrapped gear is freaking tight. Oh, yeah, huh? See? See? You get yourself some unwrapped gear, you'll get the ladies. Uh-huh. So anyways, being that this engine is just coated in oil, and I can't tell where it's all coming from, we're going to douse this thing down, get it all cleaned up. You know, get the power washer out. It is very cold out right now. But if I bring it back in the garage, it's not going to freeze. So get the engine warmed up real good and spray it down. I did look at the underside. It looks great. Unscathed. Exhaust, everything is good underneath. It's just that it has the natural rust preventative going on where it leaks oil. So everything's coated. So I don't know where it's all coming from. I'm almost guarantee you both valve covers are leaking. So we'll get it all doused down, cleaned up, and then we'll take a look at it later in the day after it dries out. This is where the photo shoots go on out here. It's very cold out. She's wearing minimal clothing. Put a sweater on, it's cold out! I did take the liberty of hooking up the code scanner to the car. Lots of codes. Like all the engine codes were secondary air pump and stuff to do with the secondary air pump. I cleared those out, didn't come back on. So I don't know if we have an issue there or not. We'll find out. ABS code, airbag code for the crash sensor on the passenger side, and there was two airbag codes. One was for the seat or something. Nothing blew. But the sensor was triggered, so we're going to have to replace the sensor. I think after I replace it, I can clear that code. That's the only thing, besides the damage, that is keeping this from being inspected. I could take it and get the enhanced inspection done. That and window tint, but I could take it and get the enhanced inspection done, and it would be legal to drive. So in Pennsylvania, that is one factor. If your airbag light is on, it does not pass inspection. So that is one issue I know I have to take care of right away. I don't have to fix everything right now, but I would like to take care of the leaks or, you know, the worst ones. Anyways, it's an Audi. We're going to have check engine lights because it's a Volkswagen. And but as of right now, there is no check engine light. All the lights are different systems. But we can slowly take care of them one by one. But we do need to inspect that crash sensor. But let's get the engine bay cleaned up first, and then we'll look into that. What are you doing?
Stibbing.
Say hi to everybody. Oh,
Stibbing.
You don't want to talk to anybody.
Look at you. Oh, kisses. Aw. Your daddy lovin's.
In this freaking thing, you know how we replaced that back sensor? Guess what? This one stopped working. It was working yesterday morning. I stopped and parked somewhere, got back in, and this one wasn't reading. So my tire light's back on. Yeah. This might be a factor. I don't know if... sorry if the bag's rustling in there. I mentioned my hose is frozen. I don't know. Nothing. So, I guess we're not going to be doing any cleaning at the moment. If you're cold, they're cold. Bring them inside. Yeah. Why didn't you bring it inside in the first place? I wouldn't leave it attached to it. Shut up. Okay, so I cuddled with my hose long enough that now the water's flowing through it. So I'm going to get my power washer hooked up. And I'm going to, I just have everything zip tied on here. I'm going to take this front end off. And I'm looking. I don't think this headlight, besides a scuff right there, that's it. Took a scuff right there. So we are going to be able to save that. All the water had, ice had melted. Now I need to get that all dried out and cleaned up. The best way to do it's going to be to take the light apart like I did the Infinity and busted the lens. Yeah, but I don't have to... just to get the water out, I think I'm going to be fine. So we probably will bake that headlight. This one needs a little bit of a polishing. It's got some nice nicks and scrapes on it. But yeah, we need to get this all taken apart, and then I'll get it warmed up, get it outside, and spray it down. Alright, so the first stupid aid that I turned off on this already, well, I didn't turn it off, but I'm eliminating. This thing has an electronic dipstick. You go over here and you go to check the dipstick, and you're like, oh, there's dipstick. So then you pull it out to find nothing, because they don't want you to check the oil. Well, I ordered a dipstick, because that electronic dipstick, I cannot get it to work. And plus, to make it work, you're supposed to get the engine up to operating temperature first, then let it sit for 2 minutes, and then you can check it. And it's not coming up on screen. It keeps telling me to wait 2 minutes, warm it up or whatever, and it was up to temperature. So, if you have no oil in your engine, how are you supposed to check it? How do you even know? So, I ordered a dipstick. It was like 23 bucks. No big deal. We'll get one put in there. This headlight has a tab busted. Of course, the same one's busted on this one. I have it zip tied together right now. We are going to plastic weld that and build it up with epoxy. I am using both of these lights. So I'm going to take both of those lights out. I think I'm going to take this rebar piece off since it's damaged, and try to see if I can find this crash sensor over here. I did find out that these wires that are cut off do not go to the horn. These ones go to the horn, and the connector was on the end and it's busted off. So if I can epoxy this back into place and get it to where that connector will connect, that's fine. These go to the fog light. I pushed that connector in a little bit. I need to get it in a little bit further. Then I'll be able to plug the fog light in with that. So yeah, that just leaves this one lone wire here that I don't know what it goes to. So I'm going to have to check out the other side. I was looking, but I didn't really see anything. Purple and brown. Might be a side marker on the bumper. Who knows? Okay, so this explains a lot. The ripped off wires go to the power washers for the headlights. I don't believe I am going to fix that issue. That might be something way down the road. That's nothing that's up on my priority list. I have never had headlight washers in the past, and I don't need them now. But right here is the connector and the wires on this end. Also, the hose, let me get up in here, that line that was tore off, this line right here is supposed to attach to that line, and that has a T-fitting on it that is busted. That T-fitting then runs from here over to the other headlight, which is the washer on that side. So that's what this long line is here that got ripped off. Really no big deal there. So I still haven't found the crash sensor. So like I said, we're going to start tearing this front end apart here, and Luckily, I don't know exactly what. I know that's like an ambient air temperature sensor. I don't know if that's like radar or what that is, or adaptive cruise control, whatever. But there's some sort of monitor in the front grill piece inside of here. So thankfully, that's all intact, whatever it goes to. Now that's kind of a little bit of a dilemma. I thought that was bent. Now I took it off and looked at it. It is not bent. There's nothing. I don't even think the front bash bar is bent. It's scuffed, but it's the same angle the whole way across. So like, I think this is fine. This one actually comes out at an angle on purpose. If you look at how this one is, this one comes out at an angle this way, and this one comes out at an angle this way. If you look at it, there's no actual damage. There's nothing bent, nothing cracked. This is the way it's supposed to mount. So I think we're fine. But that needed to come off anyways, because the radiator needs to come out. I'm not doing that right this second, but it needs to come out. But this also gave me a better visual of what I need. As you can see, the pocket for the headlight is completely missing over here. That's what right here is what we need. There is this piece right here, this whole bracket piece right here, and it wraps the whole way over to the fender. And then this piece right here that the headlight sits in is also missing, and that's what holds the washer nozzle and stuff in. I still don't know where the crash sensors are. I'm gonna look that up real quick and see if I can find, because I am not seeing them unless they're like right in plain view and I'm just blind. But let me look those up real quick. Alright, so after doing a little research, I found out why I can't find a crash sensor. This actually is the crash sensor right here. It's bolted onto the back side of this plastic piece here. So I ordered a used one that has the plug on it because it's supposed to go into that wiring harness there that is just hanging. So we'll get it on there. That should clear our airbag light. I'm not replacing this because nothing's sprung out when I took it off. I'm telling you, nothing's bent. This is made to come out at this angle, and this one's made to come at this angle. That's the way these things are made. It's just, it looks awkward because it looks like that one sticks out further, but that's not the case. Everything's fine there. I am leaving this off because of taking the radiator out here eventually. Just leaving it on right now because in case I still need to move some things. That way we're good. So when that sensor comes, I am going to go ahead and order this plastic piece that's missing in here, so we can fit all that up and then see what we're going to need to do from there. We're going to do a fix on these. We're going to do some plastic welding, some epoxy. Then we need to get this thing up in the air. Like I said, I believe we're going to do the valve cover gaskets, and I think we're going to take the intake off of this to clean the carbon out of the valve area. We're going to go ahead and take this fender off. It's just ripped to shreds. Being aluminum, when it did that, it just ripped right down this seam. And right there is part of those mounts where it mounts at. Just ripped them right off. I don't know that the replacement fender is going to be aluminum. It might be metal. I really don't care at this point. I just want this thing to look good whenever I do get it fixed. Now, as you can see, I got that connector pushed back on there. You can see it's still cracked all around. So I'm going to epoxy this, use that plastic epoxy the whole way around it. The pins might need some bending, some adjustment inside there. But for the most part, I think this is going to fix this horn. You know, it's not really a big deal, but I want the horns to work. There's one good one on this side, but I wanted to have this one fixed too. So we'll do that. I think I'll move on to the headlights next. Well, sadly, that lens is just so pitted that I'd have to do some extreme sanding, do a lot more work on this, and I may do that in the future, but it's just, there's so many little pits in it from miles. Obviously, they're running highways. There's no way they put that many miles in a year on it, but running highway, that just got the headlight lens all pitted. And I went down to 800 grit. I think I could probably even go down further than that. I'd have to almost use a power sander on this thing. And it's just, yeah, a lot of work. So I may in the future just price a headlight, but we're going to use this one for now. I'm not going to put any more work into it at this moment. We're going to put some more work into that one. That looks like it was a replacement headlight. So the lens looks a lot better on that one, but it has water in it, so we got to get that cleaned out. Of course, they make replacement lenses for the A4, but they don't make replacement lenses for these headlights. So you either buy a headlight or a used headlight is about $350. Not gonna worry about that right now because these are gonna work. So that's gonna save me $350 right now that I don't really feel like spending. Now, if you haven't noticed by now, even though this is a very expensive car, you'll know that this isn't like all those other rebuild channels, and that I'm fixing this in a different way than they would. You're not going to see me go to a dealership and pick up all brand new parts to fix this Audi because it is just not feasible. There's no way you could buy all factory parts to fix this thing and then be in a good place. The way I'm fixing it, I'm going to drive it like this. And I feel confident that everything's going to be good. So this is how we're going to be doing a lot of fixes. Yes, I am buying new parts, not Audi parts, maybe some if I can't find anything else, but I'm keeping this on a budget. This is probably the cheapest S5 ever purchased, and I'd like to keep it that way. So alright, so I put another really good coat over top of this, so it's looking pretty nice. So now I'm going to get this other headlight over here. I'm going to bake it first. I want to bake it and get that lens off of there so we can get all the moisture out that's on the inside. I also have the back off of it. I'll probably just leave it off of there because that'll help the moisture escape. I'll probably take this rubber cover off too. Everything I can to help the moisture get out. So we'll do that, bake this in the oven, then when we take it out, we can clean all the moisture, get everything. Okay, so I'm preheating my oven right now at 270. I went around this thing and looked everywhere, and there are no screws holding this lens in. Looking the whole way around it, there are none. Right here is the seam. No screws the whole way around, so it's just held in by glue. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get this off of here, get them dried off, and put it back together. gonna be real honest with you. After baking it, all the moisture's out of it. I baked it twice. What I was worried about was it leaving water spots. This thing does not want to come apart. I don't know what kind of glue is on it, but it's, yeah, it's together like crazy. And I got the housing kind of warped. I'll go around and seal it, but it doesn't look any worse than the other headlight. I mean, it's got pitting and stuff in it, but I thought there'd be water spots in it, and there's not. I think there's like one little one right here, and it's not even that noticeable. So instead of me end up busting this while it looks good the way it does, I'm just gonna leave it like that. I know they don't look perfect, but these are doable. The tabs are back on. That was the main problem we were gonna have, is mounting tabs, and I'm not sure if I don't have one up higher than the other. Maybe it's just the way the lights. It's the way the light's sitting. It still looks like it's up higher, but there's something underneath this one that is broken, like tab wise, and that's why it's just not sitting. Should sit like that. As you can see, that puts them pretty close. So once these all dry up, I'm going to give them time to dry. I might put a little bit of touch-up paint or something on there, like some satin black or something, just so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. But I mean, it's not like they're perfect anyway. They are solidly plastic welded on the inside and outside, and I took a piece of plastic that was busted off and added some. I added some into this one because I drilled holes in it to put a zip tie on there to hold it in place, but I filled in those holes with plastic now. So they're done. The horn's done. It works. We tried that. Let's put it up in the air and see where the oil leaks are. See what it looks like. I'm gonna have to put this secondary air pump back on, or it's gonna dangle pretty good. Dangle. So unless I get really handy with that plastic welder, I am gonna have to buy a core support for this. I don't think they're that. If they're not that bad priced, then yeah, we're definitely going to. But this mount up here that holds the radiator is busted. This bottom one is busted, and I think these ones are solid. Yeah, they're in place, but it's cracked right there, just on that side. And then down at the bottom, it's kind of loose down there as well. So, looks like everything's about ready to come out. Maybe I'll do that first. The condenser and I don't know if this is a trans cooler or an oil cooler, actually look to be in pretty decent shape. I'm not taking that off yet in case I need to move it or something right now. I was going to move everything and take the radiator out, but then I got to drain the coolant, and I don't want to run it after that. But it is going to happen very soon. Alright, so on the website I found the bumper. I don't know if you guys can tell me, do you know if an A5 bumper will fit in S5? It's hard to find S5 bumpers. Like, I don't know. They're all listed as A5, so I'm guessing they're the same. The grill's different. So, but I found the bumper with the fog light covers for really decent price, and they also have the core support, and it's $60. Or no, the shipping was $60 for everything. Core support was only like $50, $59, something like that. So I am gonna go ahead and replace the core support since it's, you know, cheap. It's mostly plastic or polymer or whatever it is. So, and it's just bolt in, obviously being polymer. There's a bolt there, and there's a bolt over there, and then you know, take your bumper supports out and take everything off. So it's not really that bad. Let me get this thing up in the air so we can look at the bottom of the engine now. I tell you what, it's just hard for me to do long-term projects because I'm like, I just want to get it done. I'm like, I want to do it right now. It's going to be smarter to put a core support on anyways, and you can see stuff's wet, and I can see oil. I missed a lot of spots up in there. I did spray it down pretty good, but yeah, there's no way. There's a lot of fresh oil right here, and once I get the radiator and all that stuff out, I'll get a really good clear shot of the front, so I'll be able to see
The valve covers are definitely leaking. Almost looks like the drain plug is leaking. I feel certain that drain plug's leaking by the looks of things. I don't see where fresh oil ran back to that spot, and that's all fresh oil. It was just, it's hard to get everything clean, especially when it's already this oily. Everything was oily back here. It still is. There's lots of oil, rust preventatives underneath here. So, yeah, lots of future projects. That almost looks like the clutch master cylinder is leaking. Sure does look like it. Could have some output shaft seals. I have no clue. But like I said, if it's the valve covers leaking, all of this stuff would still get covered. I'm glad I'm getting a dipstick for this thing so I can at least keep track of that at this point. Besides that, underneath, they didn't damage anything with the forklift. The exhaust is not in that bad shape. There's some water still from me spraying. I don't know, maybe that exhaust is loose. Nope, that's pretty tight. So, coming back to the back, a little bit of surface rust back here, but the rear is not leaking anywhere that I can see. This is all dry and dirty, could be sprayed. So yeah, everything looks kosher back here. Shocks are not leaking. We just need a new. I should have sprayed underneath the back side of here, man. Ooh, it is just nasty, dirty. But trunk pan, everything looks good. Mufflers look good. We're good back here. So what I'm gonna do is start up top. Like I said, valve cover gaskets are a must. I know they're leaking. I don't know that I can see it good from here, but I can see some oil up in there. It's seeping down off the top of the cylinder, especially on this side. And I mean, that could oil everything over here. Same with the other side. So we will be doing that. Once I get this radiator off and stuff, we'll be able to see the whole front side of the engine. We'll spray it down again, probably run it long enough just to get it out of the garage, spray the front of the engine off, get it all clean as it can be, and then run it back in the garage. I won't get the engine warmed up, obviously, since it won't have any coolant in it, but I feel certain we can do that, and that'll help out there. But I'm still pretty excited for this thing, so I don't know if you can tell. But yes, we'll continue on. Probably, yeah, I don't have anything for the Scion. I got a product review for the next video, and we'll continue on this on the next episode. I think we're going to tear the front end apart. I'll go ahead and order the core support in the radiator so we can get that done. So I don't know what you're doing and you haven't hit that like button yet, so go ahead and hit that like button or hit the dislike button if you're not. And seriously, consider subscribing. Go check out my merch. It's as cheap as it's ever been. I make next to nothing. Yay. And just like always, we'll see you on the next episode of Unwrapped.